Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today Team 13 will be presenting on the topic how to report corruption in Malaysia. Our presentation is divided into several sections with each member responsible for researching and presenting a specific part of the topic. Here are our team members. Here is an overview of today's presentation. Let's begin with the introduction. What is corruption? Corruption is the abuse of entrusted power for personal gain and can occur in many forms, such as bribery, fraud, embezzlement, and abuse of authority. It affects both the public and private sectors, leading to a loss of public trust, misuse of resources, and obstacles to national development. To overcome this, it is important for the individuals to recognize corrupt practices and understand how to report them through the proper channels. This presentation will be explaining about the types of corruptions, the agencies responsible for handling the reports, the methods available for reporting, the information required when making a report, and the protections provided to the whistleblowers in Malaysia.
So, there are lots of acts that can be reported as corruption, but here are the top 5 common acts in Malaysia. I will explain one by one. I'll start with the bribery. Bribery occurs when a person gives, offers, receives or accepts money, gives, services or other benefits to influence a decision or action. For example, paying an officer to approve an application unfairly is considered bribery. Second is conflict of interest. A conflict of interest arises when a person's personal interests interfere with their professional responsibilities. This can result in biased decisions that unfairly benefit themselves or people close to them. Third is abuse of power. This happens when someone uses their position or authority for personal gain or to benefit family members, friends, or associates. For instance, a manager awarding a contract to a relative without following proper procedures is an abuse of power. Fourth, fraud and false claims involve providing false information, fake documents, or dishonest claims to obtain money, contracts, or other benefits. Examples include submitting fake invoices or claiming expenses that were never incurred. Finally is embezzlement of funds. This refers to the theft or misuse of money that has been entrusted to an individual or organization. An example would be a public officer using government funds for personal expenses.
Okay, now I will explain who handles corruption cases in Malaysia. In Malaysia, corruption cases are mainly handled by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, also known as MACC or SPRM. The MACC is responsible for investigating corruption cases in both the public and private sector. Their duties include receiving complaints, conducting investigations, collecting evidence, and interviewing the witnesses. After the investigation is completed, the investigation papers are submitted to the Attorney General Chamber or AGC. The AGC review the evidence and decide whether the individuals involved should be prosecuted in court. In short, the MACC investigates corruption cases while the AGC decides on prosecutions.
Let's look into how we can report corruption. In Malaysia, corruption should be reported to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or the MACC. It is an agency responsible for receiving and investigating the corruption complaints. There are several ways to submit a report, making the process accessible for everyone. Reports can be submitted online through the MACC complaint portal or by using the MACC mobile application, by visiting any MACC office in person, by calling the MACC hotline, or by sending a report through email or post. Regardless of the reporting method, it is important to provide accurate and complete information. This includes who was involved, what happened, when and where the incident took place, and any supporting evidence such as documents, photographs, videos, emails, or any text messages. Providing clear and reliable information helps the investigators to assess the complaint more efficiently and increases the likelihood of a thorough investigation.
Okay, I will explain the information needed when making a corruption report. So first, we need to explain clearly what happened. This includes describing the corrupt act, misconduct, or any bribe that was offered or received. Second, we should identify who was involved by providing names, job titles, and organization connected to the case. It is important to state when and where the incident happened, including the exact date, time, and location if possible. We should also explain how the corruption occurred, such as the method used and the amount of money or gift involved. If there are witnesses, their names and contact details should also be included. Lastly, supporting evidence such as email, receipt, document, message, photos, and transaction records can help strengthen the report. The more detailed and accurate the information is, the easier it will be authorities to investigate the case. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zaidh and I'll be first talking about online corruption reporting process. The primary online channel for reporting corruption in Malaysia is the MACC, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. The complaint management system portal, which is available on the MACC official website, which I have provided below. However, you can also report through email, phone, hotline, physical offices, and through an mobile app. The reporting process flow: the first, which we have submission, the person complaining files out the online form with regards of the alleged corruption incidents. Reporters can choose to remain anonymous and a follow-up number is provided for follow-up. The second, in which screening takes place, MACC screens the information for completeness and relevance to corruption. Information Reviewing Committee, where select cases are forwarded to the committee for decision on further action. If the Information Reviewing Committee forwards the case, investigation takes place, where MACC officers conduct investigation using intelligence-based methods. And at sixth, we have prosecution, where cases with enough evidence are referred to the public prosecutors for charging decisions. Protection for whistleblowers. Whistleblower protection in Malaysia is primarily governed by the Whistleblower Act of 2010, Act 711, in which the royal assent of the case was on 2nd June of 2010 and was formally added to the Gazette on 10th June of the same year, in which the whistleblower is legally entitled to three main safeguards, which are confidentiality of identity, immunity from civil and criminal action after the case has been reported, and third, protection against detrimental action. Now first look at the confidentiality of identity, in which identity, occupation, and address and whereabouts are protected, such as information cannot be ordered or disclosed in any civil or criminal or other proceedings. However, the exception is if the courts order concealment, reduction of passages identifying the whistleblower in evidence. The second part, where immunity from civil or criminal action, in which no liability for making the disclosure. However, the protection may be revoked if the whistleblower participated in improper conduct disclosed. The whistleblower willfully made a false statement. The disclosure is frivolous or vexatious. The disclosure is principally involves questioning government policy merits, And fifth, the disclosure was made to avoid dismissal or disciplinary action from their job site. The whistleblower committed an offense under the Act. At third, we have protection against detrimental action, damages or compensation, injunction including interim injunction or any other relief the court deems fit. Whistleblowers who fear or have suffered detrimental action may request relocation of their place of employment. The Whistleblower Protection Act is undergoing significant strengthening, in which at first we have removed the provision that denies protection when disclosure was prohibited by secrecy laws, example Official Secrets Act. Second, it extends witness protection program coverage to whistleblowers and new oversight body for protection administration.
Hi, my name is Ismita Sofiya, and I will discuss the challenges in reporting corruption. Although reporting corruption is important, many people hesitate to do so because of several obstacles. One major challenge is the fear of retaliation. Individuals may worry about losing their jobs, damaging relationships, or facing threats from those involved. Another challenge is the lack of evidence, as corruption often occurs in private and can be difficult to prove. Some people are also concerned about confidentiality and fear that their identity may be exposed. In addition, many individuals are not aware of the proper channels for reporting corruption. Finally, a lack of trust in authorities may discourage people from reporting if they believe no action will be taken. These challenges can make corruption reporting difficult despite its importance. Now I will share some tips for effective reporting of corruption. First, it is important to collect accurate information and evidence whenever possible. This helps authorities investigate the case more effectively. Second, reports should be submitted through official reporting channels to ensure they reach the appropriate department. Third, all information provided should be honest, factual, and objective. Avoid making assumptions or spreading unverified information. It is also important to maintain confidentiality to protect both the reporter and the investigation processes. In addition, corruption should be reported as soon as possible while the details are still fresh. By following these tips, individuals can contribute to a more transparent and accountable environment and help support efforts to combat corruption effectively.
I will explain the benefits of reporting corruption. The first benefit is promoting transparency and accountability. When corrupt activities are reported, individuals and organizations become more responsible for their actions. This helps create a culture of honesty and integrity. The second benefit is preventing the misuse of resources. Reporting corruption helps to protect public funds, government assets, and organization resources from being stolen, wasted, or used for personal gain. The third benefit is encouraging fairness and justice. By exposing corrupt practices, decisions can be made based on merit, qualifications, and proper procedures rather than favoritism or bribery. This creates equal opportunity for everyone. The fourth benefit is building public trust. When corruption is reported and addressed, people gain greater confidence in government, agencies, businesses, and other institutions. This strengthens the relationship between the public and this organization. The fifth and final benefit is reducing future corruption. Reporting activities sends a clear message that unethical behavior will not be tolerated. This can discourage others from engaging in similar acts in the future. In conclusion, by reporting corruption, we contribute to a more honest, fair and accountable society.
To conclude, reporting corruption is a shared civic responsibility that helps to promote integrity, transparency, and accountability in the society. By following the proper reporting procedures and providing accurate information, and also by using the official reporting channels, individuals can help to ensure that corruption cases are investigated effectively. The protection provided to the whistleblowers also encourages people to come forward without fear of retaliation. Together, by taking action and speaking up against corruption, we can contribute to building a fairer, more transparent, and corruption free Malaysia. Thank you for your attention. We hope this presentation has given you a better understanding of how to report corruption in Malaysia.